Okay, Steve Oshiro, hanging out here at the gym, preparing for the Michelob Open, the premier bodybuilding event here in this part of the world. I mean, the bodybuilding community here, I know everybody's training hard, everyone's looking forward to it. Let's talk about judging criteria first, right? For the competitors themselves, when they're on stage, bodybuilding is equal parts art and science. So men and women, I mean, both, musculature, form, posing. What are the criteria that they're ultimately going to be judged on?
Okay, so for all categories, to some degree, varying degrees, they're all based on muscularity, right? And from, let's say, the men's, you have men's physique. That's the first level of, that's more of like a beach body model type physique. And then we have classic physique. That's it's a throwback to the days of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? So that kind of classical, nice symmetry, nice lines.
And mass too, right?
Yeah, and mass. But then we have 1 degree further. So bodybuilding has actually progressed to that level. So they actually brought in the classic physique for those competitors that fall somewhere between men's physique and bodybuilding, so that we can reach more people into the sport.
Okay, and a big part of what competitors are judged on is also presentation.
And conditioning too. So they have to be in shape. They have to be very chiseled, and then how you present your physique to the judges. And show off your good parts, body parts, and maybe mask your weaknesses. That's all part of it too. But yes, presentation is a huge part.
Well, let's talk about that too, Steve, because the male form and the female form, females tend to be more beautifully curvy in certain parts, like the glutes are more accentuated. Maybe guys have their traps a little bit more developed and everything. What are the judges looking for when it comes to our female competitors and then the guys?
Okay, so for female, there's actually 4 divisions, right? So the entry level, what we call the one that requires the least amount of muscle mass, is women's bikini. And that's the division most people can think about getting into, like within 2-3 years of training, right? Entering the women's bikini, where there's muscle. You can tell that this girl works out hard, but the muscles are not so developed and defined as, say, the woman competing on the bodybuilding stage. So there's bikini, and then there's wellness. Wellness is actually it was put in there for girls that are maybe by genetic wise are a little bit bigger, right, and maybe a little bit more muscular in the from the waist down.
So it's like toned versus shredded, right?
Like I said, with men and women, each division is going to require a little bit more muscularity and a little bit more conditioning.
Okay. Now, how about the muscle groups that both genders have like in common? Because we look for core, so we look for abs, we look for quads, we look for biceps.
Yeah. So division to division, like bikini, you don't necessarily have to have chiseled abs. You just want like a flat stomach, low body fat, well-defined round glutes, cap shoulders, maybe some, a little bit of definition and some muscle in the arms, and the legs. And then as you progress to wellness, now they want even more muscle in the legs, right? And even bigger, rounder glutes. And then as you go up to women's physique, that's where they want actual like conditioning, like you want to see striations within the muscles.
And the one muscle group that I think most people neglect to remember, especially like first-time fans, is the jawbone, because you're all about selling, so it's your smile too. That really goes a long way.
Yep, you gotta smile.
You gotta sell it.
Yep, you gotta sell it. Yeah, exactly.
Steve, now let's talk about how much of a spectator sport bodybuilding is, because I mean, it's the competitors up on stage, and there's everybody, behind the judges in the crowd. But I mean, it's a wildly participatory sport, and we want to get a lot of like first-time attendees who have never been to a bodybuilding competition to come out.
Yeah, so you can, for fans and people coming on Saturday, December 30th, you can expect like big cheering sections within each competitor is going to bring their own little clique with them. That's how it is every year. So it gets really crazy, fun, exciting, especially when there are physiques that are really close. Sometimes the audience can be the deciding factor, you know.
So the judges do take like audience feedback into consideration.
When physiques are so close and they don't know, yeah, sometimes that can happen,
What are they going to take away as far as the overall experience and the impact that it makes on them, and possibly motivation to get into bodybuilding?
Yeah, exactly. Well, people are going to see people that they know. We're a small community. They're going to see people that they know that have, especially with the first-time competitors, completely transformed their physiques. So they become an inspiration. So they'll be able to take home some motivation. We're moving right into the New Year's. About not necessarily competing, but just getting involved and maybe making exercise and strength training part of their lives and their health and wellness.